Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. Welcome back to the Magical Readathon, to Orilium, and to an announcement video for our second semester of the year, which is the autumn equinox. I am so happy you stopped by. Welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before and you're back for more. I feel like that rhymed and I kind of hate it. I know most of you are returning, but super quickly, in case people are new and want to join, Magical Readathon is a role-playing fantasy type of game. We create a character, we choose a class, which is basically your university career, then we go into an imaginary but very welcoming academy and we study for a subject which classes have prompts. It's all for the sense of community, and it's all for fun, and it's all for pushing ourselves to read a little bit more or outside of our usual picks. I can direct you to this video and I hope that it is helpful. Whilst the autumn equinox is maybe not the ideal place to start, you can still do so. You don't need to register anywhere, you don't need to do any prerequisite things unless you choose to. Follow that video, create a character, choose a career, and join. We can pretend that you've done the first semester and just continue on, because I would rather you join than feel like you're left out, you know? And also we would love to have you. So, the autumn equinox of 2024. We're doing it in September, first of all, out of necessity this year, but depending on how it goes, it might be a permanent change going forward. Boy, do I have new things for you today. This keeps falling. I am so excited. I think this is my favorite addition that I've done. I had so much fun creating the Guild Emporium, but you know, I'm jumping ahead of time. So we're starting on the 1st of September, finishing on the 30th at midnight, whatever time zone you are in. Every year we try to beat our last year's equinox stats. It hasn't happened in a hot second, and it may not happen going forward, but you know, we still try. We were very close last time. So take a deep breath, because this number is very, very intimidating, but our goal for surpassing the previous year would be 7,724,712 pages and 24,045 books. I'll be very, very impressed if we manage it. You may have, by now, clocked that we have a new Orilium logo. I really hope you like it. I will upload it on the G Drive for you to download if you're using in your planners, digitally or print it out. Obviously the old one doesn't expire, but I have a new one, a new shiny one, so that's exciting to me. Speaking of new, but not quite, I'm slowly resurrecting the website. Initially it was restarted, so I have a place to direct people to sign up to the newsletter, which is the main thing I want to mention. Only one newsletter email has actually come out. I really planned on releasing more, but again, every single moment of my awake life outside of work hours, I've been just working on this because I don't know, a lot was going on. If you wish to sign up, the form is on the website, and I will be sending out news on the pin, which has been delayed because there's been things that gone wrong with it, but it will happen at some point, or any other readathon news throughout the year, not just when we're doing this. That is the place to be. The prompts, and there's 42 of them. Get comfortable. The biggest difference from the spring equinox to the autumn equinox and how we play is that in spring we only have to pass the subject once. There are no grades. In autumn equinox, we continue in the subjects that we have passed in April, but we level up. Think of these as like unlocking the next one. So the first grade is O for ordinary, the second one is Q for qualified, and then D for distinguished, which is the highest grade. Please obviously go back to your callings booklet to check which grades you actually need. It will be written right here in the autumn equinox bits. So for example, the math magician needs O in alchemy, Q in inscription, and O in psionics and divinations. Totals to 4 books needed, because in order to get qualified you also have to pass ordinary. You can't just read for qualified, you have to unlock that level, if that makes sense. So now, after that quick recap, let's get into the actual prompts, starting with alchemy. I'll be looking down to read them, so just so you know. Ordinary for alchemy, we are studying chemical breakdown. And the prompt for that is read a book that you think will make you emotional. Not necessarily to a breaking down point, but that was the inspiration for the prompt. For qualified, we are studying component reconstruction, and the prompt for that is book that was traditionally published after being self-published. This one I know might be a little bit tricky, but I'm hoping that the community will come together and put a lot of suggestions for those struggling. Well-known fact, maybe, but The Martian actually was first self-published and then was picked up by traditional publishers, so if you wanted a sci-fi. And for D in alchemy, we are studying culinary transmutation. The prompt is food on the cover, so anything from a cupcake to a berry, anything that you can eat, anything that counts as food, being illustrated on the cover counts. For animal studies, ordinary level, we're studying phoenix keeping, which is very exciting. And the prompt, unsurprisingly, is phoenix on the cover or in the title. There actually is a book that came out recently called The Phoenix Keeper. And I have read it a while back and honestly really enjoyed it. Sorry, I didn't mean for this to become also a recommendation video. I'm just gonna move on because we're gonna be here for a while. For Q, we are studying Shadow Misties, and the prompt for that is to read a standalone book. And for D, we are recognizing morphs. And for this, we're reading a book that had a cover change, which again might be a prompt to consult the community on if it is a bit trickier. Art of Illusion, we have O level at image generation, which we are going to use a random emoji generator, which I'm hoping to link down below with all of the other random generator related prompts. Actually, I'm just gonna do it. So if I click randomize, and I got a tiger. Well, you can't see, but just trust me, I got a tiger. So for that one, I would maybe look for either a tiger print, a tiger word in the title of the book, or an actual tiger on the book cover. I did it again and I got an 8, like a number 8 emoji. For this, maybe I would look for a book title that is 8 letters long. You know, you really are free to interpret this as much as you want. Now I got bowling pins and a bowling ball as an emoji, so I would maybe look for a book that features, or like a comic book that features sports. And then I got a camera one, so again, camera on the cover, or a book that I see on Instagram. You know, you can really play around with these, which is why I think it's really fun. So I hope you'll enjoy it. And if you do get an emoji and you need some help interpreting it, I'm sure people will be happy to do that on Discord or online as well. So back to Art of Illusion. For Q, we have False Target, and the prompt for that is to read a prequel. That can be a novel or a novella. And for D, we have False Memory, and the prompt is word memory in the title. A good way to search for that is to go on either your own list or Goodreads or Storygraph, wherever you're going, and then put the word memory in there, and then they will come up with the whole list of books that have that word in the title. Moving on to astronomy. For ordinary, we are studying the constellation Cradle, and the prompt is book released on your birth month. It does not matter, so it does not have to be released during your actual birthday, just the month. So for example, I was born in June, so I would be looking for a book that was released in June, whichever year. For Q, the constellation in question is Castle, and the prompt is Castle on the cover. And for D, constellation dice. And here we want to roll a D6 die. If you do not have a die on hand from any of the board games, or you just don't have it, you can also just randomly generate a number from 1 to 6 online. And then depending on what number you get, you would find a book that has the amount of pages within that bracket. So the brackets are, if you roll a 1, it is between pages 100 and 200. If you roll a 2, that is between 201 and 300. If you roll a 3, that's 301 to 400, and a 4 is 401 to 500, and a 5, that's 501 to 600, and if you're a little bit unlucky to roll a 6, that would be 601 to 700. That would be challenging. Best of luck. Conjuration. We are conjuring bats for ordinary level, and the prompt is bat on the cover. You know, in honor of us moving to September, we're going a little bit spookier. It feels a bit more fitting, you know, it's a little bit more autumnal for the autumn equinox. For qualified, we are conjuring laurels, and for that, the prompt is book that has 1 and a word. For distinguished level, we are conjuring lost maps, and for that, the prompt is book with the map. Moving on to demonology. For O, we have the unfamiliars. And the prompt is the person who does not read, as in does not read for fun, picks a book for you. So for me, for example, I could ask one of my parents who, you know, have read in their life, but definitely it would not be one of their current top 10 hobbies. And I would be like, hey, pick a book for me. I think it would be interesting because it could be a book that you would never ever pick for yourself. Or maybe they'll know you well and know exactly what to recommend. For Q, we have demonic possession, and the prompt is last book you bought or borrowed. And for D, we have demons of old. Prompt is one of the oldest books on your TBR. Onto the elemental studies, we have O for gust of longing. The prompt is, first of all, recognizing what your favorite scent is. So for example, I personally really like lavender. So then for myself, I would be looking for a book with a title that has the word lavender in it, or lavenders on the cover, or authors whose like pseudonym or an actual last name is lavender. This can be quite fun if you want to go and check your perfume and see what the keynotes are online for that. If you're not into those type of scents, maybe there's a food item that really smells good to you, like oranges or any type of fruit, or I don't know, ramen. And then look for that on the cover and title or an author's name. For Q, we have influence and growth, and I need you to note at this moment of watching this video, what is the last book you read? And no cheating. Not like a book you're gonna read later, but at this moment of learning this prompt, what is the book that you've read last? And the prompt for this is to read a book 100 or so pages longer than your last read. For D, we are studying sparkology, and the prompt is sparks on the cover. That can be little sunbursts or any type of shiny stars. It's up to you what you count a spark. Spells and incantations. For O, we have Charm Dancing Stars. We read a book that you predict could get 5 stars from you. For Q, we are studying Spell Memory Clip. Any book at all from any of my previous videos. So if I've just shown it, if I've held it, if I hold it, if I unhold it, if I showed the book, it counts. It's also great if you have any videos to catch up on, but if not, you can also just hover through it and see what comes up. And for D, we have Incantation Carbon Copy, and this is a returning prompt as well. Steal a book from someone else's TBR. I say steal. Really, it's not stealing. You're not stealing the book. You're just borrowing the idea of reading it. On to the second page, Artificary O, Birthstone Properties. So this is to read a book with a cover in the color of your birthstone. So if you don't know what your birthstone is, that's fine. Put in your birthday or your zodiac sign. So for me, I would be, you know, June's birthstone. I want to say there's a couple for most of the months. For me, I'm pretty sure it's a pearl, so that would be like a iridescent or a white cover. And I would find a book merely iridescent or a white cover. And if yours is like an emerald, then you would look for a green book. You get the idea. For qualified, we have Helping Hands, and the prompt is a non-human protagonist, like a little robot or an animal or an android or an alien or an inanimate object. I don't know. For distinguished, we are studying arithmancy, and this is number in the title. Inscription. For O, it's Art of Decipher, and for this prompt we are looking for a title that has all the letters in your first name. So my name is Gintare. That's Gintare. They don't obviously have to be in order because that would be quite insane. The title has to have all of those letters somewhere so you can Jenga your own name from it. Q is ink pigmentation, and this is color wheel for title color. So again, kind of similar to the birthstone, but a bit more random. And D is credit etiquette. And for this prompt, you should gather up the books that you've recently given 5 stars to, and then check the acknowledgements and see if the author thanked another author. And then once you find that author, find a book of theirs and read that. So it's a little bit of a treasure hunt one. I hope you will enjoy it. For lore, we have O, Iltyrian History, which is a vampire book. Again, going in a little bit of a spookier zone. For Q, we have regional interpretations, and for this, we want to read a translated book. And D, we have Tale of Desert Creeper, and the prompt is to read a retelling. That could be a mythology retelling or a fairy tale retelling, up to you. Psionics and Divination, we have O, Rewind Time, your favorite author's debut book. So the first book they have released, this might end up having to be a reread for some of you. You'll have multiple favorite authors, hopefully, to pick from. Hopefully you will find a book that you've not read by some of them, and then go back and see how their writing was at the beginning. And if it is a reread, then it's a reread, you know? For Q, we have significance of recurrence. The prompt is to find a book with a title where same letter appears at least 4 or more times. Looking primarily for long titles, and I'm sure either an I or an E or something like that will appear more than 4 times in it. And for D, we have Introduction to Tarot 2, a prompt you might also recognize from before. And similarly to an emoji, we are generating a random tarot card. If you have a tarot deck at home, obviously you can draw it in person, but if you don't, there is a website that will link it out below as well, where you generate a random tarot card and then look at what's happening on that tarot card. Maybe there's cups on it, maybe there's swords, maybe there's a flower or a moon or a sun or something like that. And then you do the same thing with it, like with the emoji. You either look for those symbols on the book cover, or you are looking for the themes, like it's a celestial type of kingdom, or you can even go by the overall color scheme of the card to match the book. It's up to you. Almost there, two more left. Restoration. For O, we have Night Dew, and this prompt is Night Sky on the cover. Q, we have Dangerous Plants. The prompt is Poisonous Plant on the cover or in the title. So a word like Nightshade or Belladonna or something like that. And for D, we have Quick Action in Crisis, and the prompt is that the title has to have a verb, which is a doing word. And lastly, we have Shapeshifting. For O, Inanimate Objects, Jewelry. Jewelry on the cover or in the title, so again like a ring or a necklace. And for Q, we have Celestial Influence on Shapeshifting, for which the prompt is Planet Name in the title. And lastly, we made it, Navigation After Transformation, and the prompt is a compass on the cover. Okay, I hope that these sound fun. I hope the ones you need are ones you like, and if not, we may have a workaround this time for you. Which leads me very naturally and nicely into the next topic, which is the restructuring of the guild reputation points. To recap a little bit what the guild reputation points even were, so these were the points earned every successful semester completed. You get 50 points just by completing the semester. If you're doing the Year in Eldia challenge, every month you read a book, you get 10 points. A lot of the times the side quests that we have also will indicate when you get 10 points usually for completing a step. You get these points given out throughout live streams. You have these points in the mini readathon, like Lightfall. There's loads of places, loads of little, bingo cards or whatever. Those points really accumulate, but if you're tracking them, and before we had, a tracking system, and we had a tier system as well for your reputation, and the reputation gave you access to different reading perks, so it would either let you double up or DNF a book, or then we added more difficulty levels because there were some people who were really active doing a lot of different things and gathering those points too quickly, and then it became a little bit boring, so we upped the difficulty levels. Anyway, over time, I myself, who by the way also plays this game alongside with you, I am a host, but I'm also as a participant, and I have found myself really not particularly caring about them. And I feel like if me, the host, is not excited about collecting these points, I feel like this must be a widespread issue, And I'm sure it works for some people as well. What I'm saying is that I'm scrapping that system not entirely, but I'm scrapping the tracker, I'm scrapping the tiered reward system, and I'm introducing something called the Guild Emporium, and I am so excited for this. I don't know if you can tell. This has been an incredible amount of work that I think I was just in a delusional state when I started that it's gonna be less amount of work. I think the excitement took over, and then I forgot to be a sane human being. Hence why this is a little bit pushing it. Don't worry about your guild reputation points. All the points you have gathered up until now are still valid, and we're gonna continue gathering these points in the exact same way, plus some additional ones. Hoping to add more opportunities if anything. But if you did have this printed out, or if you tracked it somewhere on this particular sheet, you can disregard it, bin it, say goodbye to it. We are moving on. And if you haven't been paying attention to your points, I highly suggest doing a little bit of math. I know, I'm very sorry. Because you may want to have them now. So what is the Guild Emporium? Guild Emporium is a shop that collects unusual, innovative creations of either the students themselves or masters of their craft or Orilium Academy alumni, or even just, you know, very creative mages across Eldia. And it offers you a selection of things. So we really have two bigger subsections of that. We have the flavor, the roleplay, the cosmetic things you can buy to either download or note down to really get into that roleplay element. It doesn't really affect your reading, but it does make you feel hopefully more involved with your character and build onto their personalities and, you know, whatnot. And then the second one is the same type of perk system, but now readily available for you to spend your points on, that will of course influence your reading and because it's the perks for the reading. So I'm going to start with that because I feel like that's going to be the main concern, is that, oh, but I really didn't want to lose my perk. Valid. Instead of always being at a tier level and only having that one tier level perk unlocked, now you'll be able to purchase scrolls. These scrolls are single use, so once you get a scroll and you use it up and that it's gone. If you want that perk again, you buy a second scroll. But don't worry, the scrolls are not very pricey. I'm hoping that a lot of people, even if you've participated just in one semester in our spring Equinox, you already have 50 points, you'll be able to take advantage of this if you want to. So the perks will mainly be familiar to you, but I'm gonna read them out either way. First, we have Scroll of Closure, which allows you to DNF a book and still count it as a pass. So if you are 50% through or whatever, you decide that actually you really don't want to suffer through this book, it is not your favorite, and but you don't want to start another book for that particular subject, you can buy the scroll, use it, and still count that DNF as a pass in that subject. Once you have done that for that subject, that scroll is gone. Good news is that if you want to do it again, you can buy another scroll. Next, we have Scroll of Exchange, which lets you swap one prompt. Let's say you have a prompt that asks you to, let's say the prompt is to read horror and you just don't want to be scared. So Scroll of Exchange will let you choose a different prompt that you maybe don't necessarily need, like a shapeshifting, and you don't need shapeshifting, but you see a prompt, you like it, and you're like, I'd rather do that. You can basically swap those prompts and it will still be a pass in your original subject. And this would cost you 10 guild reputation points. Just a reminder also, once you actually do purchase something, to remove those points. like if you have 200 points and you buy the scroll, you'd have 190 left. Like, it's not just like a replenishing bank thing, you know? Similarly, we have Scroll of Replacement. So if you, again, don't want to read for the prompt that you have, but you also don't really see any other prompt that you would like to replace it with, you can just read any other book. Any book whatsoever that you want to read that doesn't fit any prompt, and it will still count for that prompt that you're trying to skip. It needs 15 points. Then we have Scroll of Versatility, which allows you to read one book that is over 500 pages but count it as 2, so you can fulfill 2 prompts with a book. Then similarly, we have Scroll of Scholarly Power, which means that in this semester, if you buy the scroll, there are no limits for doubling up. Let's say you need to read 7 books to pass that semester, and you find one magical book that fits all of the prompts, or you find 2 books that complete 7 prompts. You can just read those and call it a day. I need to emphasize that those books still need to fulfill the prompts, but you don't have to read a single book for every prompt. You can double up, triple up, quadruple up, whatever suits you. And that one is 35 points. We also have Scroll of Continuation, which is new, and it also costs 10 points, and it allows you to continue reading a book you started before the semester, so before the 1st of September, and still count it for the readathon. Again, 1 per book. So Scroll of Extension, similarly, but on the other end. So instead of starting it early, it's finishing it late. It counts a book you started and will finish just a bit after the deadline. And that is also 10 points. Then we have two other little things that are added. You know, I do need to say that you can do this regardless if you track points or you don't track points. Obviously, it's all for fun, but for those who really wanted a legit quote-unquote way of doing this by the rules and whatnot, is an official letter to allow you to sit your exams at a later date without withholding your progress. So if, let's say, September just really does not pan out for you, you can decide to do this by yourself in October. And this letter would allow you to do that. Again, you can do that either way, but if you wanted the official way of doing it, you can purchase the letter. And again, similarly, if you just do not see a way that you're going to be participating in that semester at all, and you don't think you can squeeze it in later in the year as well, you can use a semester's worth of points, which is 50, to basically kind of buy yourself, I guess, buy your way out of doing it, but it's just skipping it. You skip it. You skip the semester, but it counts as you being done with the semester. You know, do you know what I mean? And it's called Potion of Infinite Knowledge. So basically you glug that potion and then you sit all the exams with flying colors, and that's a pass. So that is the section of things you can purchase that actually affect your reading. Now to my favorite section, which is significantly bigger and also, in my opinion, just so much fun. Totally understand this is not gonna be for everyone, but I feel like, you know, some of you will share my enthusiasm for it. But we're getting to the Guild Emporium section of things. Now you'll notice that a lot of the things are more expensive here, but I also know there's, because I've done a survey, there's a lot of you who's sitting with 500 and more points already under your belt, and I wanted to find the balance of, you know, things that people can buy even if they don't have a lot of points, things that people can feel like they're having to work towards, so it's motivating, and things that people can buy already if they have quite a lot of points. You know, happy medium. I tried. We have 5 categories in this. I'm gonna do a quick overview with you. I'm encouraging you to download this file or go on the website. I'm hopefully gonna have that there as well, and peruse the whole catalog at your own time, but I did want to go through a couple just to show you how it kind of works. So let's start with Implink here. You can see a variety of things you can pick from that all relate to your Implink. So for example, if you fancy taking your Implink everywhere with you and having them in a little bubble of enjoyment, Impact might be for you. Cost 80 Guild Reputation points. If you think a fun bog frog themed onesie is something that your Impling would like to strut in, you can buy that for 100 Guild Reputation points. There's an Impling Encyclopedia for 50. There is a Cozy Cove luxury bed that is very luxurious and it costs 150 to get that. Or if you really just want to have a day where you speak with your Impling, you can feed them a babble bun for 20 points. Which is a popular choice because people love to talk with their companions. Then we have the lifestyle category. You always fancied a very prestigious looking broom. You have a sky sweeper. If you like to play it prank on an unexpected victim, you can buy them a scuttle puzzle and drive them nuts when the puzzle starts running away for 50. If you really just can't be bothered looking after your hair, which honestly, mood, and I wish that this existed in real life, you can buy yourself a Main Master 4000. Thermal regulation slippers, anyone, for 30. And very excitedly, there's also Guild Emporium gift card, which means that you can take some of your points, put them on this gift card, and gift it to a friend. So if you have anyone who is just starting the readathon with you and they don't have any points to spend yet, but you have some points under your belt and you want them to feel included, or just feeling really nice and giving someone else the points, you can put that on the gift card and then send it to them and they will immediately be able to spend that. I think that's very cute and I honestly cannot wait to see people do that. Please tag me because I think that's very cute. Then also in the lifestyle category, we have the Conduit Care Kit, Dreamlink Scrying Spheres, which basically are little mirror spheres. They're pretty much FaceTime. We have Cloud Crystal for your weather app. We have Toasty Coasties for all of your drinking temperature needs. We have Subtitle Serum for real-life subtitles, which again, I really wish was a real thing. And we have the Slumber Nest, the most magical item of them all, because it guarantees you 8 hours of restful sleep. Unheard of. True magic. Onto the adventure section, which I believe is maybe the biggest one, and filled with loads of things you can use on your questing or your year in Eldia, for example, adventures. We have Adventurers Atlas, which is a very interactive, almost like a pop-up hologram type of book that's quite a bit more than a book, to be honest. Summoning Stones for your immediate mounting needs. That sounded wrong. Homeward Compass for those who are very much a homebody. Circlet of True Sight for seeing through disguises. Windwalker Cloak, which is a glorified little cloak of hopping, but very fashionable. And Soul Sphere, which is a solar light source. If you fancy a weapon with magical abilities, this time we have Eye of the Archer for a whopping 310 points. So some people may need to save up for that. And surprisingly, not the most expensive item on the list. We have Mermaid's Gift for those who want to breathe and explore underwater. Potions on the Go kit, pretty much what it says on the label. And then Rift Spheres for teleportation, and also Cloak of Shadows for those sneaky among us. Then we have a somewhat cursed looking, but a very interesting concept, I hope, is the Wanderer's Tent, a tent that does not stop. But you'll never find yourself behind schedule on your journey. Actually, you can just sleep during the night and the tent will do the walking. Again, on a pricier side, but hopefully you can understand why. Porta Library, a little portable shelf that stores more books than it seems like you could. Very pretty. I'm anticipating this to be quite a popular choice because you can also use it at home. You don't have to take it on your adventures, but you can because it's that lightweight. And only 90 points. A bargain. You have Big Pocket, which is what it sounds like. An Overpacker's Dream. A Ghost Shield that summons a ghost spirit to fight alongside you. That would be great for someone who does not actually know how to fight, but still wants to adventure into some more dangerous parts. Precious Ring of Invisibility. You know, if you know, and you will know. Going on to companions. A short list, but an exciting one, I hope. Finally, you can adopt a bog frog. Look at them, barely fitting in the frame. Alongside, you can also get a bog frog compendium if you so fancy. Maybe you want to grow some pals, and mushroom pals would be the ones for you, and you never know which one's gonna grow, so that's also exciting. The cheapest one on the list from the whole compendium of items is the Froggy Lily Pad. You may remember this from the streams, actually. We came up with this on the stream, and some of you will already have this, actually. So that's fun. Which is basically a party trick. It's a very pretty one though. Or you can get a shadow puppy that looks very intimidating, but actually is a big softie. And then the last category, it is the scholar category. These are the things that can help you with your studies, such as the Alchemist Cauldron, specifically perfect for those who are studying alchemy, but can be applicable to any other enthusiasts out there. Spellweaver's Stitch Kit, again, probably mostly relevant for the thread mages. However, those who just meddle as a hobby as well could buy that too. An all-nighter potion if you are finding yourself that you having to stay up all night and cram for the exam session. That's the one. The Everite Grimoire, the only notebook you will ever need because it just never ends. And not only that, but it sorts your notes by topic once you close it. A dream. Again, would like in real life. Swift Scribe Quill. Hard to say quickly. It's an automatic writing quill. Self-explanatory for why this would be useful. And the Literary Reading Harness, where you slot your book in and it reads it out loud for you so you can continue your studies or your hobby reading on the go and whilst doing chores. The most expensive item on our list is the Scholar's Sanctum, which is this very elaborate, very detailed desk that makes studying very enjoyable. It truly is desk of many things, and I am going to read through those things just so we can really appreciate it. And you'll notice a couple of things that we have already mentioned as possibilities to buy separately. So, you know, things are installed in there that otherwise would be a purchase. So, you know, this is also reflecting in the price, which is $500. So that is quite spenny. But hopefully if you are lacking points, this is going to give you a little motivation to gather these points and track the points. I know it works on me because I truly just do love to shop, especially when I don't have to spend real life money on it. It's gonna scratch this capitalist scritch. So we have the giant Dreamlink scrying screen, which is that blue thing in the middle. Two, so a set of built-in toasty coasties, again, seen in the catalog before. A heated companion cushion for your impling or your shadow puppy or your cat, whichever. Ambient toned crystals for those who would like some ASMR and ambience when they're studying. Non-wilting greenery, because who has time to look after plants? A conduit charging station, so your amilorite core never quite buzzes down. Flame resistant exterior, so all of these floating candles never actually catch your very expensive and new desk on fire. Trophy shelf, which could of course be used for snacks as well. Comes with premium ink and quill. Super excitedly for me, again wanted in real life. Not only self-cleaning surfaces, but an auto-tidy function. Dream. And of course the noise cancelling vines. Who wants it? Who's gonna get it? Fess up in the comments. And then two last items we have are the Wildlife Sanctuary VIP Pass, which is basically just a big wildlife sanctuary. It is what it is, really. And then Artificer's Cauldron that can measure, melt, smelt, blend, and fabricate. Very perfect for any type of crafts mage or an artificer. Depending on your character and their interest, could be for you too. Okay, if you have stayed with me for this long, thank you, and I'm sorry that it's been a lengthy video so far. Really hope that you guys are gonna find this fun. Let me know what you're going to buy. I'm very excited to read those answers. Like, what is the first thing that you're like, I must have that? And does this idea in general excite you? On to the next thing. Backed by some demand, book clubs. Works exactly like previous. You do not have to participate in the guild book clubs, but it is a way for the guild members to talk with one another throughout the semester and get to know each other a little bit more, and it is guild specific. This is happening on Discord, which is always linked down in the description below. You sort yourself into the guild and then a guild chat appears, as well as a guild book club. I will be replacing the previous book club chat, so those will disappear. I just don't want it to get too clunky there, so I will be replacing it with the new ones. But I've had people who were excited about it and enjoyed it last time, and we were quite good with avoiding, you know, unnecessary spoilers there and using the spoiler tags for the spoilers. So I'm, you know, tentatively saying that everything is gonna be okay this time around as well. So the way that it works, there are submission forms for your guilds. Those will be linked down below. Click on your guild's one, not all of them, just your guild one, and submit one suggestion for a book. You can do this until the 22nd of August, at which point I will close this. I will randomly generate a number and see which book that is, and then I will put up 4, I believe, options into another form. Put that form out for you guys to vote on what actual book you are reading, and then announce that hopefully on the 27th of August. Again, this is not a necessity. You don't have to do this. If you do choose to do this, I have decided to award 10 points for like a community spirit. Hopefully whatever the book is going to fit one of the prompts that you need, so it's just like a only time that I can see it not working if it's already something you've read and you don't want to read it again, which is totally fair. Of course, we are continuing with our lore side quest. This was a 2-parter, so if you haven't done the first part from the last semester, I would highly suggest that you go through it, even if you're not actually doing what it says to be doing, because you don't have time. I would still go through it so you can actually see what's happening. We left it on a cliffhanger, and I'm not gonna say anything else now until we just release it on the 1st of September. Totally not because we don't have it yet. Absolutely by choice and to leave you guys wondering. Yep. As well, on the 1st of September, we're gonna have our book logging forms open. But once it is open, the links are gonna be in the description bar, as well as on Discord and pinned in places, you know. And then the tentative date, or the hopeful date for our all-nighter, which is the 24-hour period where I personally do sleep, some people don't, but you can, despite the name, is the 21st to the 22nd of September. So during that weekend, normally we kind of start up and read together, and I do sprints at least on one of those days, get the games going and give out some points and just have a good time with you. And again, the socials are linked down below, so explore that description bar. There's a lot of information there, and I hope that it is helpful and it leads you places that you want to be. I think that is it. I am like 50% sure that I'm forgetting something. It has frazzled my brain. But anyway, I am so excited for you to be back. I hope you will have a wonderful time. I will see you with my TBR soon, because actually the 1st of September is not that far away. So good luck to the editing me. Thank you for watching. Stay awesome, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!